The movie opens with Professor Chaos Theory tells us that
Professor
it has been
Chaos
said that something as small as the flutter of a butterfly's wing can ultimately cause a typhoon halfway around the world. Now, there's lots of think pieces online about this movie and like the butterfly effect explained, but then a lot that will say like 17 things wrong with the butterfly effect.
That's annoying.
And I don't care about that kind of stuff. I don't care
either.
about plot holes. I don't care about like the logic not adding up. And I don't even care about the fact that that people don't understand what they mean by the butterfly effect, which I only just learned. The butterfly effect applies to very complex systems where very small events like the flapping of a butterfly's wings will have ramifications that you literally can't trace back. Whereas in this movie, you can trace back the causes of things. Mm-hmm. And often things that should cause big changes don't happen, which not a big problem. It's a good evocative title. But I don't know, maybe if it were called Blackouts or if it were called Evan Darko or something.
Yeah, like more about what's going on with his brain rather than what's going on with when you adjust small things in time. Or just how a flawed human or a young man in college, the things he would think to adjust or fix and not just stay okay with his current reality. How that's not a good power to have at that age or maybe ever.
It's all about how, things affect your life, all the different kind of choices you make and the different paths you go down and different people you meet. And it's all about what could happen and how far you could change your life. It's beautiful. I'm fine with Blackouts too. I want to hear more about these plot holes because one of the things I say, like, it's so perfect because the plot holes, there really aren't any plot holes because they cover the whole time travel paradox issues with the blackouts.
Right. They address each.
They start the scene where he's already blacked out. So it's in the middle of the scene. And so you later on you find the beginning of the scene, but not
the major one is that when he gives himself stigmata, that is him making a major change to his life that apparently doesn't have any actual effect on his life other than now he has scars on his
He instantly goes right back to the timeline he's in to show his mate.
And in the same time traveling sequence, we see that this is why he draws the fucked up drawing that got him in trouble in first grade.
This is the second time we go to the fucked up. Oh, is it?
No. This is the origin because he's doing this from prison. So he draws a prison. He draws himself killing Sumerian Brotherhood
stabbing men in the penis.
Mm-hmm. So it's like we see the origin of that, but then he goes and does something totally different, but it doesn't change his. And if this is the butterfly effect, then something like that should have massive reverberations.
That would fuck up everyone in that classroom.
Right.
But what Matt is saying is that this is what people are saying online, but these things don't actually bother us or you.
But you don't really know it didn't affect the people in the classrooms. All we see is that, his life still led him to prisons. I mean, that's all you really know. You don't know that, now he has no friends in his classroom because he did that, or he freaked out people, or maybe they thought it was cool after a while and he was a man on campus. Who knows?
A man on campus in kindergarten. What Matt said because as soon as it happened, I was like, oh, what the fuck? Why is he in the same timeline? And Matt said that he thinks that is always what happened that day, but they just don't cover it.
That's what I thought while watching it, but it's not true because
it doesn't matter.
It makes him manifest stigmata. We can talk about that more when we get to it.
And we're all saying we don't care about it, so do we even need to fucking talk about it?
It does take me out of the movie because I am suddenly like I'm having trouble sort of tracking how this works.
Just let him read his journal.
Okay.
And do a shaky head thing and change stuff. Okay.
Well, the movie opens and Ashton Kutcher is furiously scribbling a note. And I just had to note that this is some beautiful handwriting.
And how fast he wrote it.
Look at this. for somebody who's crouched under a desk and blocked a
How tall is he?
I think he's 6'2".
Fitting under that tiny desk. Good for him. And of course, I'm sure this is very obvious to everyone, but he specifically says her, and there are 4 hers he could mean in this movie, obviously. His love interest, his mom, the baby girl, or the woman that is holding the baby girl. So I'm just saying, we don't know at the end, we started the end, right? We don't know which one he's rapidly trying to fix. It could be any 4 of them.
But we've seen the poster, and it says Ashton Kutcher, Amy Smart.
Yeah, I know that she's important, but that doesn't mean at the end of the movie that's going to be the he ended up choosing his own death or own unhappiness over anything. So at any point, he could have seen the larger picture that, that baby that blew up in that mailbox was supposed to be the Prime Minister of Australia. Right. Okay. So I'm saying we have no way of knowing, and that's why it's interesting.
open to interpretation. That's what's great about film. You can take what you want from it.
I did not notice those were the men in prison. I was like,
One
his
of them is a
mom is
crown.
so butch. Why is he killing his mom like that?
So yeah, jump back 13 years earlier. They filmed this in Vancouver. This movie is very Canadian. You can smell the maple syrup coming from the
There's
coming
a
from the
maple
screen.
leaf of blood on that man's shirt. Look, it's the
It is, yes.
the Canadian flag.
It is, yeah. And
Yeah,
I
it
don't
looks
think,
like it.
and I love
They
it.
killed Cinematic Joshua. Look at. I'm kidding. He's just another bald man. You're nothing like him.
Hey, we're not all Aryans, okay?
Sort of movies like the Final Destination movies, which are very Canadian, and like, X-Files and Battlestar Galactica. I find this sort of aesthetic so soothing from this time. But they talk on the commentary about how the filmmaking style changes the more you go along. In this early section, when it's childhood, it is just very classically shot. The camera barely moves at all.
The hypercolor in his second reality. That one is
gets very desaturated the more it goes.
okay. But the I did notice that whenever he turns into like the perfect life where they're both in college and sororities and she looks like Legally Blonde, it gets it
Oversaturated.
it looks like a 90s
Yeah.
just movie.
I know it looks like I turned on the wrong movie, which
His skin is glowing and weird and yeah.
so young Evan is played by Logan Lerman. His mom is Melora Walters. She's very good in this movie.
Yeah, she is.
But she takes him to school, and he gets out of the car, and the mom's about to drive off to work as a nurse, and then his teacher comes and he's like, can you please come see this really terrifying drawing your child did?
Worst fucking nightmare when a teacher needs to talk to you.
Oh my!
Like, don't call me.
Oh, this can't be that
Don't
bad.
pull me over here.
How bad can this be? Oh, okay.
Okay, that bad. It's the thing. It's the thing that we all think's gonna happen to our kids. All right, go on.
This kid's drawing some weird shit. Let's take him to get a CAT scan. And
At night at an institute where his dad is. There's surely other institutes.
no,
right?
I think there's only one medical facility in all of.
And we just watched
entire area.
Halloween, so I was like, oh God, he's going to be in there for the rest of his life.
So the doctor says, well, we learn about his blackouts. He blacks
Yes.
out and he can't remember what happens when this happens to him.
And like, I know he's telling the truth, but even I'm like, fuck you, you're faking it. Like, I would use this at any inconvenient time if I were one that got to say these things as an excuse.
So the doctor says he should keep a journal, and thus
Dun, dun,
the
dun.
journaling begins. But this kid, something's up with this kid.
This, I think, is a very effective little jump scare, if you call it that, but just the very creepy boy with big knife out of nowhere in the kitchen. And so is this the first time we see him black out? I'm sorry.
Is it?
Yes, it's the first time we see him not remember something, right? Except for saying he doesn't remember the drawing.
That he's told, the drawing.
Right. But we see him actually do it. And of course, this freaks out the mom. And this makes me think of Sixth Sense. Just that mom, like, very much loving her son, holding on to the one thing she's got left, but he's losing his fucking mind. How can I fix him? Why won't the doctors know really what's going on with him?
No, he's just wielding a butcher knife and doesn't know why. It's fine. Everything's good. We're okay. We're gonna be okay.
Right. Yeah.
Ugh.
Okay. Did I cover
This
everything?
movie constantly is trying to like surprise you with. I mean, watching this again, not watching it within like 10 years.
Yeah.
I was surprised how dark it was. I mean, there's so many like dark topics and shocking moments.
Yes.
And it's like, I mean, they really fought to get this made the way they wanted it to with integrity, and they didn't sell it because of that reason. And they kept hold for a while, and they kept on honing it. And yeah, I was surprised when it first starts how you're like confused with the situations because you're not getting the full pieces. Again, you're starting halfway through the scene with the blackouts. You're trying to piece things together, and then really only 20, 30 minutes when it starts happening with these starts time travel, where you kind of understand what this movie is really about.
Right. Yeah, it's a time travel movie that part of it really doesn't start almost, it feels like
An hour.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like the middle.
And I always thought of that. This is a sci-fi movie. This is a time travel movie, but it's a horror movie.
It's a horror movie. Yeah.
And this section especially, like, he literally looks like a young Michael Myers.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's kind of
looked like
scary.
the little mask just came off his little clown face.
Yeah.
Shit. I feel like I had a really good thing to say, but I just blacked out. So I don't. Okay.
Write it down.
Okay. I'll write my journal. Whoa, I'm time traveling. All right. Oh, this fucking guy. That's what I was going to say. When did Mystic River, am I making up that?
03.
Okay. And so like child sex abuse stuff had been.
Are you thinking of Stir of Echoes again?
Yes, I am. Okay. I confuse those two all the time. But I mean, this movie really like goes for the darkest kind. I mean, they made a move. I don't know. It felt like the right topic. It felt like something that would fuck up 3 children, yes, but it was just, I don't know, there was something so much more, like, oh, they went there.
They did go there.
Full-on kiddie porn, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Maybe that's why people don't even, this is still kind of an underrated, unknown, underground kind of movie. Like, it didn't do very well at box office, barely, didn't make $100 million worldwide. So, like, people don't really know about it. Maybe, like you were saying, Matt, you were kind of held off because of Ashton Kutcher, so they don't want to believe in it or take the time to really invest themselves in it. But you have to watch this movie if you've never seen it before. You got to. There's so many things you don't see in the movies these days or other movies. And the writers, when the featurettes are saying, like, we tried so hard to come up with things that you haven't seen before. Like, we writing and we're throwing back ideas, and if somebody said, "Oh, this kind of thing we've seen before," we try to change it up to make something totally, new.
Right.
So I love that.
They definitely go the extra mile with the things that the brother decides he needs to do, and it just really, I don't know if I can. My kid, who we watched it with, our 13-year-old, just kept saying how real it all felt. Like when you're with a what is that term? Abuse people.
Hurt people.
Hurt people. And I mean, she was just like, we need to get away from this boy. He is going to kill somebody, and you just keep ending up with him, and you keep feeling for the sister. Like, how is she? Don't leave her alone with him ever. Anyway.
Well, let's explain what happens.
Okay.
This very normal-looking Eric Stoltz is playing the father of Evan's 2 friends, and he's going to babysit them.
And Evan can't wait to see what it's like to have a real dad around. Jesus. And I mean, you immediately know because, like,
look at him.
Well, look at him, and also he's like, we're going to play a game, and it's going to be a secret. Ding, 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 ding. And look at my video camera.
So he's producing child pornography with them. Again, didn't know that was going to happen in this movie.
You didn't?
Oh, no. I thought this was a fun time travel movie. Like, good God.
No, it's not a fun. I mean, I thought it moved.
I think it's pretty fun.
I thought it was fun and that it moved. I love Thumper, but it talks about some really hard things.
It's a heavy movie.
It's heavy.
Yeah. It really is.
Especially if you experience some of it. And I'm not saying I have experienced
time travel.
Thanks. But the idea of not being able to get away from a dangerous person and that people won't believe you, stuff like that, and that rings true.
It's terrifying.
Who is this actor?
This is Callum Keith Rennie from Battlestar Galactica. Love when this guy pops up. He's in a lot of stuff, yeah. So always a little sinister, but also a little like, I can trust this guy, or can I?
All right. So this is when he I guess they're trying to see if Evan having a relationship with his dad, since he keeps asking, when can I see my dad? We don't really know what's going on with Evan's dad, just that he's not around. And then we find out that, he had some sort of breakdown very early on and was institutionalized. And so that Evan does not go down that same path, maybe we just need to introduce him. So we'll put him in a dank ass room alone with the dad as he walks in with handcuffs. I mean, anyway. And, take it away, Joshua. What happens?
Yeah, you think they're gonna have like a nice conversation, but just again, this blackout cuts, and all of a sudden he's strangling his son, and it's like, you're like, why? What happened there? And you're always invested in this movie. At least I am. Like, you just want to know, edge of your seat the whole time. Like, why was he strangling him? Why this person? Why are they like traumatized now? You're always trying to find out, like trying to fit the pieces, and I feel like so many movies don't do that, and that's why the reason I love this movie. It challenges you to think and try to process things as it unveils the mysteries
and going back and forth and back. Right, yeah. Like you can imagine a big cork board as they're writing this movie, making sure they go back to explain. Yeah. And also, it's like you record so much when you film so much when you do a movie, and you cut out so much, and it's like how you don't accidentally take out something where you meant to trace it back, and I don't know. It's impressive how they time travel themselves just to make it all go.
And that's what I really like about the movie is the experience. You feel like Evan because you are denied.
I feel like Evan. Yeah,
you are denied seeing
I'm
what happens,
blacking out.
and you feel that frustration. In addition to just the suspense, it's just, this is not fair. I do not get to learn what I should have learned.
And everyone thinks I'm faking it and just want them to say the dirty thing again. It's like, you know what happened. It's like, I really fucking don't, man.
Then the hospital orderly kills the dad, and then we have one of many cuts to
just
to
one
a funeral.
blow to the head in front of the kid. There, did that fix
Right
your
in front of
daddy
her.
shit?
Oh, it's so sad.
This kid's going through a lot.
It's hard to kill a man with a pipe, but he did it. Wait, it probably wasn't a pipe.
I don't think it was. He didn't just have a
plumber.
pipe.
He's a plumber, and he's a okay. All right. Oh Jesus.
So yes, jump ahead. Now it's 6 years later, I believe. It's 1995 because they see the movie Seven in theaters.
Yes, and this is the scene that's so real to me: the nasty basement where everyone goes to be bad because the parents not really paying attention. I've been here, boys. I'm just letting you know. I was the one girl
smoking cigarettes at
like this
as a little baby. Yeah,
right, little baby cigarettes. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and we also meet the fourth friend, Lenny. But we have our central trio slash group of kids. We have Evan, Tommy, Kaylee, and Lenny, and they're being bad, smoking cigarettes in the basement.
Being normal, but yeah, go ahead.
Tommy, we see this kid's a little sinister. Our introduction to him earlier had him choking a doll to death,
twisting its head.
So you know this kid's trouble, and he says, "I have a great idea. Here, my dad has in here a stick of
a Blockbuster.
A Blockbuster.
I never knew Blockbuster meant anything but the place I went and got movies from."
A stick of dynamite. My dad has high-grade explosives in a coffee cans.
Hey, kiddie porn, you need explosive. You know what I'm saying? At some point, you got to blow up the children, make it stuff filled.
I mean, he's thinking ahead at least.
Yes, it's planning.
So they're like, hey, great idea. Let's go blow some shit up. Okay. And
we'll blow up Kevin McAllister's house with the little house that matches the big house.
This mailbox is incredible, people. If you're just listening to the audio, just Google the scene of the mailbox to see this mailbox.
No, don't tell them to Google the scene of the mailbox.
No, not the scene. Just look at a still of this mailbox. But they make Lenny put the stick of dynamite in the mailbox, and then Evan blacks out again, and that frustration of like, wait, so what happened here?
Right.
And you kind of fill in what happened, but what you think happened did not happen.
You and our kid kept, not you, but kept guessing everything, and I'm like, stupid child, just wait till you find out. Oh no, did someone pass out? Oh no, did someone lose an arm? Oh no, like there's baby death and you don't even know it. I felt so superior.
This actor who plays young Tommy, I didn't write down his name, but he's scary. He is menacing.
He's
quite good. This is a little shit, and this is such a delinquent, like, oh my god, just,
I'm buying
such a terror, man. Ugh.
His name's Jesse James. His real name is
right.
That's so awesome. His name is Jesse James in real life. He's scary as fuck.
In the director's cut, this isn't in the theatrical cut, but we have a scene of Evan going through his dad's like box of artifacts, which has photographs and Super 8 film stock.
Things that make him remember.
Yeah, and in the theatrical, they kind of have this as well of like the implication that his dad was also a time traveler.
Yeah.
The director's cut makes it like very explicit.
Okay. Well, I felt it was very explicit.
Okay.
He learned how to what? What did he learn how to do? Like, time travel. I got it. This boy, and remind me to give you a picture, this looks just like my longtime boyfriend, James. I hope he doesn't listen to the podcast, but that might also be why I like the movie. He looked just like him.
Did he ever go under hypnosis and get nosebleeds all the time? Because that's what happens next.
That's the only thing that happens. Boy's named James.
I think, is this the first time we see him just experiencing the blackout memories, right? Is when he goes under hypnosis?
It is. It might even be when he got the ability to time travel. This doctor is the link between the dad and him. Maybe this doctor is unintentionally giving people the ability to time travel.
Maybe you're right.
He's like, no, I'm just going to give him a mild seizure until he can time travel. Just hold on.
And no one can stop 9/11.
They should have gone back. I don't know if you know, but there's two sequels to this movie that are not real sequels, just by name.
Oh.
And yeah, they're subpar. They're not nearly the same level or anything. But they really should have gone back, and maybe they will in the future, to like the dad or something. His storyline, or maybe the doctor, or maybe other patients. But like tie him in. I hate when the sequels don't tie in the original movie, and that's what they take the premise of the time travel stuff for 2 and 3, and they don't use anything with actual characters.
If this movie had maybe been a bigger hit, We definitely get
Yeah.
a straight to Hulu show about young Jason or whatever.
Well, no, like what got his dad in? Yeah, what got his dad into this? What was so bad that he was put away? Like,
Because he was constantly.
Yeah, it would have been nice to get more with the dad, but yeah, they didn't do
especially
that.
when I'm looking at these pictures. Okay, so apparently the clown fucked with him. That's why we're looking at a sewer
Sure,
grain.
sure.
And then what is that razor wire picture?
I don't know what the pictures are.
All right, well, they look sinister,
Well, then the kids go see Seven, and
which was not a good
Tommy
idea.
just has his feet up, and he's like, "Look at that fat fuck up on
Oh
screen."
God, he says the F word. I mean the other F word
Yeah, there's some language.
and the R word. Yeah, not cool, Tommy. I'm starting to think you're a delinquent.
And then Kaylee and Evan go out, and they, hey, this sucks that we killed a baby. Yeah, it does suck. And they kiss, and then Tommy sees them, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing, my sister?" And then he beats the shit out of some bystander.
Right.
And again, it's very scary. He just gives the best snarling
He's
look
got
as
that
he's
short king,
escorted
like
away.
scrappy. Look at his face.
And then Kaylee and Evan go to see Lenny. Like, Lenny, are you okay? And we see, okay, Lenny doesn't appear to have been injured. So what happened with the mailbox?
I mean, Lenny's not the same after
No,
that.
not physically injured.
Right. But he seems to have some. I don't know. Maybe he had like a seizure or something from it. I mean, he clearly he went into shock, but it seems
He's just traumatized. I mean,
Yeah.
with, seeing the deaths of the young kid, the baby, and the mother, and just like being kind of culpable for that, kind of
1 minute
at
your
fault for
life
that.
is normal, and then like that, you've changed everything. I think we've all had that. Like, oh fuck, this will never. I don't know my life anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And little baby bits are on his face, and
Ugh. Little pacifier.
no.
So, I didn't say that. Yeah, they all go walking in the woods together, where they stumble upon Tommy, who's burning a puppy.
Hey.
This kid is one sick fuck. So,
Oh my God.
like, hey, please
What a
don't.
menace.
It's Evan's little dog, and Evan is like, please, Tommy, don't kill my dog, and he beats the shit out of him, and
With a freaking piece of wood. I mean, when he wakes up from that blackout, it is very. I mean, I don't know when it happens, but just the purple, the bruising, the makeup. So I mean, he clearly was bludgeoned. It's just the most painful wake up that he has.
And again, I not knowing anything about this movie going in at this point, we're 40 minutes, or no, we're not, but we're like pretty significantly into the movie, and I'm
Yeah.
like, when are we getting to the time travel factory? And also, like, this is some dark shit.
Yeah.
He's burning puppies. What's next?
Like, yeah, you don't know where the movie's going to go if they're going to go here.
It just drops your jaw so many times. Like, you just can't believe what's happening on screen. Like I said, it's such a unique movie like that. So many I hate disturbing movies, but there's so many disturbing things in this movie. And if it brings the weight and it's fine. But I'm just surprised how dark they went. This is not a normal Hollywood movie.
It's
Yeah.
not. And
It
you
really
bring up
isn't.
such a good point, because I do not like disturbing things just for the sake of it. It is the reason why I won't finish a movie, and it's so hard to put my finger on what does it. But when it's palatable and makes such horrific things palatable, you're doing something pretty magical, which is what this movie it makes it okay to watch it,
I mean, yeah, it's
because we need
dealing
to
with
be able to talk about
yeah.
the worst things in life, and
To
they're
be able
so
to-
hard to.
You have to have a delicate touch, because this is
That of a butterfly.
yes, but
Okay.
with like child sex abuse, with
Yeah,
prison rape, with suicide, and with disability.
with disability.
And disability is the one where I'm going to say I don't like what you guys did, but we'll get to that.
Well,
Oh.
okay. Well, and right, because it's so easy to cross into voyeurism or into like making it a spectacle instead of like giving people like representation for things they might have gone through, and going into now let's gawk, and that's when it becomes gross.
Yeah. So Evan's mom makes the very understandable decision. It's time to move.
I as soon as it happened, I'm like, parent, that what else are you gonna do? Anything else would be an impotent decision. Like, it was just a brilliant parenting move on her part.
So this is where Evan and Kaylee are separated. They have, they like each other.
They
They're very
love each other.
connected. But now they're separated.
They're fated for each other.
And then Ashton Kutcher's in this movie.
Then he becomes a sex kitten. Look at him. Sorry. So it turns out Evan's a genius, and we don't really know that about him until he's grown up, Evan. And I like that in every storyline, he gets a moment to show that he's still the same. There's no version of his reality where he's not a intensely smart person. Even when he's like douchebag frat guy, he does the entire Greek alphabet like it's nothing. One other note.
That's right.
Tommy. I noted that Tommy, because it's a real nurture versus nature question, but there's not one reality where Tommy is an extreme. It's just that he either becomes extremely religious, extremely ambitious, or he becomes extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
Like, so, Tommy was always going to have an extreme future. Just depends on which way
he goes.
With it. Yeah. All right. So Evan's a great student. Like he's like our kid, where the teachers like bend over backwards to like make sure our kid has time to do. He's just such an exceptional person, and he's an honest person about his work, and he's really going somewhere. And this kid's got a future, and he really wants to study the brain and figure out what's going on with him and why he can't remember such huge chunks of his life, and maybe hopefully figure out what's up with his dad. I would assume that that's his drive for this. And then we meet Thumper, my favorite character, and I just love the idea that someone can be an outcast in his actual reality and still a sex god, because there is a market for any type. Well, that doesn't sound right, but anyone. No, but he's charming, and he's funny, and I love that they're such good friends.
But Thumper is like a Mad Max character.
What does that mean?
Like he could live with a Morton Joe.
What does that mean?
Just the way he
don't
dresses.
Say things I don't know.
And just the way, he gets like sex workers to come, and
those aren't sex
like,
workers.
Masturbates in front of his friend. Oh,
they share a room. What are you gonna do? But
yeah, I'm wondering where you got some of that info from. So, what do you think? Why do you think it's a sex worker? I mean, because she was in bondage. I thought it was just like, just college girls.
Exactly.
You're right. I did make that assumption. Thumper
Asshole.
Could be. No, you're
That's
right.
the last time I wear any bondage at all for you. You're gonna give me money.
Thumper is played by Ethan Suplee. Let me just say, he's in our previous episodes, Blow and American History X.
Yes, American History X. That's when he looked. That's the vibe. But I love him in this. And then
he's
there's
great.
Smiley Teeth Lady. All right, so I mean, Ashton can't help it. He's a stone cold fox, and so he attracts all the normies and brings home a lady from the bar, and she's, read me some of your trauma. That would be fun. I would like to know about if anyone touched you on your penis, and read it slow, okay? And then he reads it, and then
it's weird foreplay, right?
It's like, no, oh my God, your dad did that too. Keep going. I know he asks her to. He passes out. He does his first time travel on accident, correct? And then Casanova, you always pass out on or Don Juan. She's brilliant. Anyway, I don't remember how she leaves, but they don't fuck. Is that what we're trying to talk about?
Well, he has to get back to his goal. He just leaves her.
Okay.
Yeah, he travels back to the puppy burning day, but.
Get out! I want to watch this puppy.
And he drops a cigarette onto his chest and burns himself. And then when he wakes up in the present, the cigarette burn is there.
Yeah.
So he sees like, I can make changes that.
Oh my God!
Still continue to this day.
I thought he just had a scar. He didn't understand how he got it, and he finally remembered it. I didn't realize that was the moment where
it's not that he remembered it. It's that he caused it to happen. It had not happened previously.
That is a revelation to me. That makes so much more sense.
I wonder if you ever see him without a shirt though before that. I don't know if you do. I don't know if it's that evidence that it was not always there. I don't know.
Evident. Because
could be both.
I'm glad you picked that up. It makes the next thing he does make so much more sense. Because I'm like, at what point did he decide that he can interact in these memories and not just be there? He just hey, fuck bag. He's just so confident when he talks to the dad. Like, how'd you know?
Yeah, so
that's why. Matt, you're smart.
He travels by reading his journals. That's his time machine.
Yeah, I got that.
In time travel stories, there's basically like two things you can do, or two versions you can have. You can have the version where you can change things, like Back to the Future, or you can have the this always happened like version of it, which is anything that you did while time traveling causes the reality that you already lived in.
It just folds it in.
And this movie kind of has both of them, or it kind of has, he can create like sort of branching realities that he can visit.
That don't change too much. He always goes to college, always ends up with the same group of friends.
Yeah. the same sort of people are there. Like when he goes to his frat bro reality and his friend is like, I got the answers to the test. In the earlier version of that scene, that same guy is walking up to the teacher and is like, I aced the test. And you're like, oh, so that guy always had the answers to the test, no matter what version of reality you're in. Well, no, this is on the commentary. I didn't pick that up.
You fucking phony.
Well, he's also like the bully in the bar who's bullying.
Okay.
Oh, he is. Oh, shit.
That's what I thought. Okay.
You forgot that? Oh, yeah. That's where Thumper, like, hits him with the pool.
That's why he instantly hates that guy. Because
he knows the girl, too, from that reason, too. From the same scene.
I love that. There's a lot of Twilight Zone in this movie. I mean, there's so many Twilight Zone episodes that this movie makes me think of. There's one where this guy has the same like dream every night where he's on trial for his life, but like different people from his life will play different characters. And I love any story where the different people from your reality are going to be occupying different roles. Very, very creepy to think about. So
right, because I mean, what's less stabilizing than thinking you know a person and that person being at all different than what you thought, and just not being able to trust your instincts about a go on. Oh, it's me. Okay, so Evan goes to meet. Evan's like, whoa, I need to know more about my past. Why not go check in on Lenny? I'm not sure why he starts there, but he goes to Lenny's house. Lenny's the one that like had a super freak out after the mailbox blew up. And he's still in the same room. They even show you the car bed. Like everything's the same. There's no way that man fits in that bed. And he's not, the only thing Lenny speaks in are quotes, quotes from his time traveling moments specifically, which is interesting. Did you think he was going to be the character that knows time traveling is happening? You said you thought that there might be a character like that.
Yeah. And it does ultimately, that's ultimately his dad. Well, kind of it's his dad, but.
Yeah, but he doesn't know what's happening. He just knows that the kid can do it.
Yeah, I was expecting some character to be like, you don't belong here or something like that.
You're in the wrong reality. Yeah, but so anyway, in this reality, Lenny's a mute, and he won't even look at him. And I can't totally remember why Lenny would be totally against Evan specifically here and not Tommy or the world. Because he says two things. He says something that Tommy says to him, and then he says something that Evan says to him, and both fucked him up. That's the two things he says here.
I think he just says the thing that Tommy says, which is if you say one peep, I'll kill you and your family.
And then, unless it's the next time we hear Lenny speak, but he definitely, in some way, tells us that both Evan and Tommy made this a dangerous place for Lenny to live. Either by Evan affecting the timeline after one or two travels, or just Tommy from how we see he actually is in the main timeline. I'm right. It doesn't matter. All right. And, Josh, I'm sorry. You can interject at any time. I feel like I'm railroading over.
No, of course. I know. I don't know how much to say. I only remember him saying one thing, the threat to him. I think it's just kind of like based on just, he's traumatized. He's in a state. He's just kind of, that weird state where you just repeat things.
Right.
Doesn't matter if it makes sense or not. Like that meant something to him. And so he's kind of just saying, I don't know if he's not friends with Evan at that point. He's just saying something just because he's not in the right state of mind.
And it explains why he's not making a peep, right? He was told not to. He doesn't want his mom to die.
Yeah, he's so traumatized. He's so scared. He's just retreated inward. He works on model airplanes. Yeah. And he largely doesn't speak or have relationships outside of his parents yet.
You know what's interesting that I don't know that they ever... So it has always occurred to me that when Lenny's mom calls Evan after this has happened and she's upset and she's like, what did you do? And then she's like, it took me hours to clean the mess you made. There's no mess. He just runs into a dresser. So I guess I was like, okay, they want us to think it's like the psychological mess that you made of my child. You really upset him today. But I thought maybe there'd be a moment where we come back to this timeline for some reason and see that like havoc ensued in this room.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. All right.
There was something that was maybe missing from the script or maybe the scene or something, but I don't think it wasn't a deleted scene. But yeah, you're right. I mean, they kind of infer some things that you don't always see everything on screen, obviously. So there's inferred, trauma and disturbing things and killings and stuff like that. So it might be one of the things where
exactly.
I'm not sure maybe he just started throwing breaking all his own planes and stuff like that, and he's gonna blame it on Evan because that's who he was just there. But maybe that's not really what happened.
Like when he's in the hospital bed and he's strapped and he's like, "You should be here, not me." You know, Lenny does. Lenny, it does seem to be the most insightful of the three, and thinking like, "Evan, this should have been you for whatever reason." Like
he just like intuits it. Like
yeah.
you're this cursed child.
Yes, he seems to understand that like you are just as fucked up as Tommy as the dad. There's something about you that gives me these horrible futures. Thank you.
Lenny is adult Lenny's played by Eldon Henson.
Who is that guy?
He was Fulton in The Mighty Ducks. Is that what you know him from?
No, I mean I must, but I kept thinking, is he the guy from Breaking Bad?
No,
he looks like him.
He's also in Daredevil,
he's
the
in
Marvel,
the Netflix Marvel shows.
Okay,
and he was in Killers of the Flower Moon just recently.
Oh.
Yeah, with no lines. Can you believe that?
Oh, really?
I was so pissed off.
Well, he's not supposed to make a peep.
He's still playing this character. He's
still very into
Philip Seymour Hoffman
he
vibes.
Does look like Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Mm-hmm. A light ginger, you know, I'm gonna put them all there.
So it's like, okay, the mailbox incident, this is a key moment in our lives. I need to go back and fix this. So he goes back in time and tries to make it turn out differently. And this is where we find out that a baby and the baby's mom died because of this. Mm-hmm. And that this affected Lenny more than anybody else. Then Evan goes
because Lenny puts the blockbuster in the mailbox. I'm sure he blames himself.
So Evan meets with his mom. They go out to dinner, and then
are they with a psychic?
This is in the director's cut.
Oh, I was like, what the fuck?
But he's like having dinner with his mom, and he's like, "Mom, did Dad ever like time travel or anything like that? Did he ever mention some sort of butterfly effect?" And then they go to the psychic, and the psychic is like, "You have no soul. You shouldn't be here. You have no life path," she says.
I was like, "Mom, were you going to get an abortion, but you didn't? Because you wanted a little piece of Dad because he was going to the sane asylum and he just got you pregnant, so you kept me, but I'm soulless?"
Maybe.
That's what it
Joshua,
is.
there's a we find out that his mom had 2 or 3 prior stillbirths.
Okay.
Is this when we find this out?
Yeah, I think that's part of. So there's a couple of extra scenes in the director's cut, only a few, like maybe 2 or 3 besides the ending. And so there's a subplot storyline. You get a little bit more into, you know, the mother and the father's, backstory. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, she had some stillbirths. They had maybe some other children that died in the womb. So maybe those other ones also were time travelers. Maybe they also went back in the womb and killed themselves. That's what they're kind of inferring about that.
So anything spawned from that man, we can assume it's Jason, the curse of Jason. It was always going to be a hellspawn time traveler.
No, he should never have left Crystal Lake. We see that the mom, after this very bad news of the psychic, starts smoking a cigarette.
Are those psychic walkie-talkies that I'm looking at?
They are.
Okay,
That's
they
how
talk to the spirits this point.
That's how she talks to them.
Are those?
You just said.
Come in, Merlin. All right. Okay, so this is the scene where because that does come out of nowhere. Mom, after I did the thingy, did you start chain smoking?
Her vice, she deals with trauma by smoking a lot.
And I don't feel like they showed that. He just kind of says it, and we're like, okay, yeah, lung cancer. So that
they should have shown him a little bit more.
Yeah.
Also, that's some fast lung cancer. I'm just.
Do you understand a chain smoke? It means you never stop, man.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So
this is the home of the famous pies.
Yes.
Famous pie.
Evan, he decides. So he's going through his journals, and I think Thumper is like, "You got to stop. You got to leave the past alone. Let the past die."
He's still on his normal.
He's still in the regular timeline.
Okay.
Like
so he can peek without ruining anything.
Let's call this Butterfly Prime. He hasn't left Butterfly Prime yet.
Okay.
But his Thumper is like, "You got to stop doing this," and Evan says like, "Don't act like you know me. I don't even know me," which I think is like one of the most interesting things about this movie is raising that question of like, what is a person? What distinguishes me from somebody else? Or even like if all of my memories were replaced with somebody else's,
right?
Who is the real me? By what definition am I me?
Right. And if I've had amnesia and I only remember certain years of my life, am I even still that person? How could I be? I don't I don't have the ingredients to even make the same choices. Fester Adams, I'm looking at you. Okay.
He's constantly evolving, like his personalities, and he's constantly choosing different life paths now that he knows how to time travel through the journals. So he doesn't really know all that's what came before that. If he's in a new reality, he doesn't know exactly what happened to the friendships he has or doesn't have.
Who's
You'd
alive?
be in a constant state of like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know who I am really. I don't know what to do. I'm just kind of trying to figure out, try to adapt to whatever situation I'm in now, what reality I'm in.
So unsettling when you realize, oh, he can't get back to his first one, and like because we're realizing
still haven't left it though. He's still.
I know, but I guess I'm just when Joshua said that, I was like, it's even when he gets to the good one where everything's weirdly, perfect. It's like, yeah, but you just lost everything. You have no idea how to get back. Was this relationship with this woman?
What good one are you referring to?
Oh, just the first one where the first time when he wakes up with what's her name?
With Kaylee.
With Kaylee, and she's happy, and they're both successful, but he's a douchebag bro. But
well, I mean that's part of his character. But I mean, it was fine. He'd be fine in that reality, but then he ruined it with what's happening later on. I don't know if you want to talk about it now, but we'll get to it in a few slides. But it changed because of the jealousy of the brothers. So, I mean, that jealousy of the brother was always there, but
it wasn't
he didn't
handled.
realize it was going to be such a big problem because he didn't have to deal with them until he saw him.
Exactly. And so it makes him realize, I have to reach back farther. Okay, I have to reach back farther. Right, because it's like, and he's had such a short life as it is, and when you realize, I can only go back further if I want to adjust this at all.
I get the sense that even before he ever changes anything, he feels like this is not the correct like I'm not living the life I need to lead.
Yeah.
Which like
he
the director's cut
Kaylee
where he kills himself is like that's the life you're supposed to lead is no life. So
yeah, he's always like he doesn't know where he belongs. He doesn't know what's the right reality because he had so much trauma when he was a child in those 2 or 3 different age eras. It's like he doesn't know where to go. He doesn't know how to fix it. So eventually he fixes himself.
Yeah.
Right.
Or he fixes it so he doesn't know her at all, in the actual theatrical ending, and then he just wants to, have her be happy without him. Yeah. So that's what he chooses.
And the only way he can actually not hurt anyone is for no one to have known him at all or miss him. So even though a mom is going to have trauma from having a miscarriage, the mom can get over that.
And we see in the ending that she married somebody else and then they had a baby girl and everything.
It was
great.
Jason. It was Jason, right? It was always the dad's problem. Right.
Let me just say about this diner, the Hilltop Cafe, home of famous pies. This is in Langley, BC. Very, according to their website, it seems like they film a billion movies and TV shows.
It's just so folksy.
Because so many places film in Vancouver, and this is right outside of it. But this is where Kaylee works as a restaurant.
She works as a restaurant.
She works as a restaurant.
She's employed as a restaurant.
And
she's adapting to her reality as well.
Yeah,
in this reality, I'm a stove.
She's a restaurant.
Fine, all things considering, but the customers sexually harass her, and she
takes it
because she knows that life, and
her boss too.
I mean, she's a loser in this reality, so she's trying to survive.
She's also a target for sexual abuse. I mean, because like abusers can spot you a mile away when you look like someone that's not going to say anything.
Right.
So Evan approaches her and he's like, "Hey, will you talk to me about my trauma?" And she, understandably, is like, "No,
trauma, motherfucker.
I don't want to talk about that." Yeah. Amy Smart is very good. I think especially in this scene. They did say on the commentary this was pretty funny that they filmed their conversation outside of the diner. They filmed it near some cow pastures, and they kept having to stop because cows were mooing, and they got a great take that was interrupted by a moo.
Oh. Boo.
I know.
Did you watch?
Go ahead.
So I'm trying to figure out. So you saw this a while ago. This is only the second or third time you've watched it?
No, I had not seen it at all until 2 days ago. And then we watched the theatrical cut. And then yesterday I went through it and watched the director's cut with the director's commentary.
Okay. Wow. So you never saw it before because of like Ashton Kutcher. Oh man, that's so crazy.
This is where him being like 4 years younger than us, because it sounds like we're the same age, Joshua. This is where that matters. I think you.
I was prime age for this. You're
just a little pussy bitch. You didn't think you could handle some Kutch.
It's hey, fair.
Okay.
The truth hurts, but
Yes.
no, I was a little film snob. If the critics didn't,
Oh,
if the
right.
critics thumbed their nose at it, I closed myself off to so many great, especially horror movies, especially genre movies,
And
just critics are always wrong.
Critics, yeah, I think it was kind of mixed. I don't think it was critics for not liking it. It wasn't like a bad reception. It just was, it's very dark. It's not for everybody.
it's specific critics though. Matt had two.
No, it was Roger Ebert is
yeah.
the most famous
And
critic. I
Lynch-
wasn't even like interesting in my choices.
It's so daddy.
yeah.
He's your daddy.
No, we don't have to talk about that.
And then Leonard Nimoy.
Leonard Nimoy, yes.
Who's the
Mr.
other-
Spock.
No, who was the other one?
Leonard Maltin.
Leonard
But he didn't do new movie reviews. He just had
He did
his
Load Bearing
guide.
Beams.
That's right.
I couldn't stop noticing that when he wrote the note to Haley, I'll come back for you. Kaylee, that he used every horizontal space he could. Doesn't matter.
So after he goes and talks to Kaylee,
Yeah.
he goes back to his dorm room and
right.
Tommy called him. He's like, "Hey, motherfucker, my sister's dead. What'd you say to her?"
Got it.
So then we cut to the funeral.
I thought it was odd that he kept that paper for so long. Like, why did he?
And what remarkable
do that?
condition it's in.
Oh, shut up, Matt.
Yeah, it's not really weathered or anything. Yeah, I wonder why. Also, why did they write it like that, all in one line, so there's barely any spacing? I mean, you got plenty of. I mean, you got to space out. You two
He's an
rows right
artist.
there, easy.
Like half the U is on another piece of paper somewhere.
He actually scrapped a bunch before he landed on this one. The little kid, yeah.
And also, I wish we saw him actually write it in the car because it seems like he just had it.
No, he does.
wouldn't
He writes
write
it. He writes it in the car hurriedly. Yeah,
He does?
But
Yeah, in the
amazing
U-Haul.
penmanship again. And I will note, not the same penmanship from the note before. Is he the same person? I don't think so. All
He's
right.
changed his way of writing as well.
Right.
Different realities.
That's what a hard knock life will do. Okay, so that's when he's like, no, I got to go fuck up some timeline stuff because I can't have my girl Kaylee being dead.
This is like the final. Okay, she's dead. I got to do something about this.
She's dead and I did it. I did the dead. Okay, so this is the first time we go see him like really go off on changing the past. And he says fuck bag twice, I will note, as he is yelling or just strongly correcting the dad right before they make the disgusting movie that they all were traumatized by in the basement. And he just basically tells the dad, you're about to screw up your precious child's life in such a way that they will one day kill themselves. And all just for what? For what? Also, discipline your shit son. And what's interesting is the son twists the head of the baby doll the exact same way he does in the prime line. So it makes you think like, did this already happen? I guess it couldn't have already happened, but whatever happened in both, one, Evan correcting the dad and telling him to be meaner to Tommy, or just watching Evan have sex with his.
No, he.
Either way, he screws a baby doll's head off.
Well, because he didn't do anything to help Tommy here. He needed to help both siblings, but he only helped Kaylee. And
No,
as
I
we find out,
understand. It's just the same result happens with Tommy.
there's like a
Big difference in what occurred, but Tommy's still screwing heads off of baby dolls.
The past is stubborn and it wants for the things that already happened to keep happening. So he wants to squeeze that baby doll's neck, but there's another iteration of the scene later. He does not choke the baby doll. He's like, "What did he say?"
Oh,
I
really?
would have appreciated that.
Yeah.
Well, I just love how Evan's always trying to fix things. He has like best intentions. He's doing the best he can do. I mean, it's not his fault that he said to discipline the kid. He didn't say to beat the hell out of him. He said discipline him, get him on the right, course of action. And things just go wrong, because of the butterfly effect.
It was
You can't always fight it.
and it's a young man, right? He's at most 20 years old while he's actually doing all this. And it's like, what knowledge could he really have of abuse and how that works and how it begins at such an earlier age that both of these children have already been immensely abused. So even how much more of an effect could it have had to stop this one event? Maybe enough. But a person with that inside of them that needs to control and dominate their children this way, that doesn't just go away. It certainly doesn't go away because some random kid, like in a weird spooky possession way, shames me in front of my two other children. It's just like if you see someone in a parking lot being ugly to their child, it's more dangerous to tell them to stop because they'll take that out on the child when you're not there. Because where they are working from a place of shame and hatred of themselves. Telling them they're a fuckbag twice doesn't make them go, I won't touch her again. I kind of thought she was cool. Now I think she's great. Totally sorry. I hate that kid still, right? It's okay to hate that kid. Okay.
Yeah, but it works here. I mean, he gets him to stop abusing her, but not abusing.
It would depend how much you really thought. Like this, he thought he was like basically being like possessed. Like you're saying, like he clearly knows. Like this guy knows higher vocabulary, curse, whatever, and so he's talking to me like as an adult. So this is clearly like something different. Maybe I should. Maybe this is God doing
exactly.
Who knows? Like how he's going to take it. So I believed him in that case. Like if a child would talk to me like that or whatever, how would you really? Would you buy it or not? I buy that situation.
At least it's
pretty realistic.
It's like that godchild told me to really take it out on this dumb son I've got.
Well, God spoke to the child, to make myself not commit these terrible atrocities. I also want to ask you about this. So you think, I thought it was Evan's first time doing the kiddie porn, and who's to say maybe they do a few more after that, but maybe it doesn't even go through this first time. Obviously happens with Kaylee in the past, and that's why she's been abused, but I thought it was the first time for Evan. And so I don't even know if it's really successful in the prime timeline.
It does happen, and it successfully happens in the prime timeline. They're sweaty. He wakes up with clothes off. She's been crying, like it's not new tears, she's been crying. And she won't talk about it.
When we see
Evan wake up. So like he blacks out during that. He doesn't remember it. So time has passed, and they've been in the basement a while. Is that what you?
Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot if they showed like that much stuff, because again, what I love about this movie, among so many things I love about it, is that it infers things. It makes you kind of guess or fill in the blanks, or things are ambiguous, so you don't get everything. Like you never see the baby and the mother like blow up. Thankfully, you only see the dog not be there. Thankfully, you have to imply these things, or it's off screen, and I love that.
I love that
it's not so explicit because it's so disturbing already, so heavy. Worse filmmakers or writers would have shown all that stuff to make it more visceral, maybe, but also like not enjoyable to watch. I don't want to see those things.
It crosses over, and it's exactly what is they're able to go to this dark child pornography place, which is extreme, because they show so little. They don't even show movement or motions or going to do something, that any bit more than they showed, and it would be just too disturbing.
Yeah, hard to watch.
I will point to, though, in one of the timelines, I don't know if it's the one where she's on drugs, but she literally says to him, "Why, Evan? So you want me to talk about when you fucked me?" or something. Like she literally says.
That's true. She does say that. Yeah. It happened at least that first time.
Exactly.
I don't know how should happen in the future, because I think that Evan is a stronger person that wouldn't allow that to happen more. I mean, who knows?
And he's stuck on this time, so there's no way it happened again. Yeah.
Right.
But that's interesting, though, because that's very rare. And usually there's more grooming. There's more of a process. So you make sure that kid won't talk. It's not very good pedophile behavior for him to just invite a kid over. He's not good at it. No, that was not great planning.
Not successful, no.
He didn't even buy him anything.
No, it only took one possessed godchild to tell him to stop, to make him stop.
But I mean, everyone his whole life just living with the shame.
He wasn't committed to pedophilia.
It does make you think what other kids in the neighborhood.
If you really wanted to.
Maybe that's where Lenny got that like nervous disorder. But Lenny was in a couple of those damn videos.
We're 1 hour into this movie now.
Sorry.
And I
thought I was getting chastised.
No, I'm saying the movie running time, we're basically at an hour, and we snap back to the present, and suddenly it's different. I want to ask you too, when you saw the movie, you were aware of the premise that this would involve changing realities and stuff, right? Because like it has that in the trailer. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I saw the trailer first. I try to avoid trailers if I can, but you're inundated with trailers in the movie theaters. I always been in movie theaters, so I probably knew there was some time travel aspect. I knew it was involving reality changes. Yeah. I would love to go back there, not know what's going to happen, and for suddenly him to wake up in this sorority house, because like, especially we didn't have multiverses and Rick and Morty or Everything Everywhere All at Once. Like, this would have been kind of mind-blowing.
Yes,
suddenly I'm living a different life.
It's a groundbreaking movie. I'm going to say it.
Sliding Doors is the only other one I can think of, and it's And that was a movie I really liked, and I can't remember anything about it, but it made me cut my hair short, and I never went back.
Sliding Doors is good. I love any kind of alternate reality, time travel stuff. So more the merrier.
Yes, what
Absolutely.
could have been there but for the grace of God.
So he gets to the present, to the new present, to this new timeline. And what does he see, Lacey?
That these guys a fresh shaved goatee. No,
Where'd
he
my
wake-
beautiful mane go?
he wakes up to Kaylee and they're in the hugest fucking room I can't imagine actually exists inside of a sorority house. He seems most disturbed though by the fact that he would wear a puffer jacket and she says, "Those are your clothes," and he's like, and it's just a pile of like Backstreet's Back, all right, that kind of clothing.
Like neon kind of
Right,
bright
he just looks
clothing.
very.
He's not used to it.
You look more
He
like
didn't see
Ashton
himself as
Kutcher
a
now.
I guess. and then he walks in a towel for some reason to a shared bathroom where he cleans up his face and it sees the girl that he once saw in a bar who was treating Thumper very poorly and realizes, oh, we've been friends forever. And he realizes that he's changed a lot. But in this reality, Kaylee's happy, and that's fucking awesome. And that's all that matters to him in this moment.
So he starts like walking around and trying to explore this new reality, and he calls his mom. And this is the only clip I got from the movie, but this is neither here nor there, but let's just appreciate Chuck.
Evan, Chuck, aren't home right now. You know what to do.
Hey, Mom. It's me. And hey, Chuck. I'm just calling to say hi.
Chuck.
Give me a call back.
Love Chuck.
We never get
That's
to hear
all.
anything about Chuck ever again.
Chuck. So his mom in this reality is happily married to a new man
Yeah.
who's treating her nice. I like Chuck. I'm in favor of Chuck.
Great. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Pro Chuck.
Yes, I'm pro Chuck.
And he also runs into Thumper at some point in this timeline and realizes that they are like mortal enemies, and that really hurts his heart.
Yeah, he's trying to get the hang of this new life of being this frat guy, of yelling at frat pledges and stuff, but it's an awkward fit.
Right.
He doesn't know how to haze these guys, but then he yells the Greek alphabet at them, which Ashton Kutcher knew by heart because he was a real frat guy in real life. And
Really?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, they didn't have to coach him on that.
I've always been impressed by that line reading, and and so now you're saying that he already knew it. It's not as impressive, but still,
it's
that's great
impeccable.
acting. But
It's still so
doing it
fast.
so well.
It's still good.
he doesn't want to be a frat. He's doesn't fit in the frat boy clothes, and that's why Kaylee says later on, like, I'd never be a sorority girl. Like, something changed, obviously, in that normal reality where they were all happy and they bought into this, the sorority frat way of life. But he wouldn't normally be caught dead in that. So he's trying to fit in for now, but he doesn't know how long he's going to be in there, and so therefore doesn't want to be completely invested in that frat culture by being mean to these pledges. He's just trying to fit in.
He's completely distracted because he woke up with the love of his life, and he's just desperately trying to get back to her, because it's like, when you think about it, that's something he's been waiting for his whole life, and he just had to go pretend to do school. Like, no, I want to go back where I'm fucking Kaylee. And he immediately starts playing this whole date, and he realized he wanted to marry her and all this shit he feels all at once.
It's probably, he spent like years thinking,
That's what I'm
like,
saying,
if I could have one night with Kaylee, this is what I would do.
Right. And he unintentionally woke up as a version of him and a version of her that has no trauma, so they don't really have anything in common anymore. Not really. They had that shared traumatic past, and it's erased. So like, they're your walk's different, you don't have an accent, or your accent's different, and that's true because he grew up in a different town, and things changed. He doesn't even, a traumatized body walks different.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing.
When he yells the Greek alphabet, this does show like he has the memories of this new version of himself while keeping the old memories. And I like that manifests itself with like brain damage, because of course if your brain suddenly doubled its like capacity, or doubled it's like if you doubled the storage on your hard drive, it would start acting funny. It would start going slow. So yeah, he wants to have his beautiful dinner with her, and she likes it, but she still feels
like it's weird.
This is weird. We're acting like we're different people, and then somebody's like, "Hey, Evan, your car's been vandalized," and he's like, "What the fuck?"
I have a car.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's the work of Tommy. He even left a dog collar, his signature.
I thought it was Thumper.
Yeah, he didn't like that interaction earlier. But Tommy shows up, and suddenly he has a Boston accent. He's like, "Don't you touch my fucking sister."
My fucking.
Yeah, and beats the shit out of Evan, but then Evan fights him off with Mace, and then Evan starts beating him up and now taking out all of his anger at Tommy and ends up killing him. And then we smash cut to prison. So now we're in prison. Again, not knowing what was in this movie, I was like, I do not know where this is going. Now it's a prison movie.
Yeah.
Where is it taking me?
They filmed this in a real prison with real prisoner extras.
What?
And it looks real. It's very good. It looks,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
really there. And really feeling for him, really feeling like you're like him. Like I'm really
Fish
now
out
stuck.
of water. Right. Like I made another split to second decision has completely changed my reality, and I didn't even have to time travel to do it. Maybe I'm cursed.
Yeah. So his mom brings him a few journals, but he needs all of them. I need to look through them and figure out where I want to go. And she's like, "No, you can only have this one for now. Focus on the case."
I love
Yes.
it. I just love that there's so many moments. She's like, Mom. Can I see my home movies? I really wanted to see my home movies.
Yeah.
I really need them. Can I have them? Okay. Oh, you know what else this movie does? In any time travel movie or any reality shifting movie, I like Groundhog Day, there's always a moment where the character's like completely fucking over it, feeling a little bit like God, and is just like, is so cocky and just like, oh, he's in his wheelchair. Oh, doctor. Oh, would you say I got the
Yeah.
memory of a 40-year-old?
Yeah.
Oh, what do you know about that? He's like popping wheelies. He's like, Mom, did you bring my movies? And he's just acting like such a freak. And he's like, what does it matter? I'm going to change this reality anyway. Fuck y'all.
Yeah, there should be a scene where he robs a bank.
Anyway. all right.
So okay. He's like, "Well, I need all of my notebooks. Damn, I only have the one." In the director's scene, there's a scene where he gets prison raped, which I'm glad is not in the theatrical.
They didn't need it.
No.
It is implied.
So
Wait, in the director's cut? Is that what you
yeah,
said?
yeah. There's a prison rape scene.
I don't remember that scene.
On the
Really?
commentary, they said like, "We insisted on this prison rape scene."
Like anal or mouth?
Well, I don't.
Oh. Well,
I mean,
you're
they
the one
cut
that
a-
watched it.
They cut
perv.
away.
All right.
Evan takes a page out of his journal. He's like, "Well, this will have to do," and he convinces his roommate Carlos, "I'm the reincarnated Christ or whatever, and I'll prove it to you. Watch, I shall go back in time, and when I come out, I'll have stigmata
Look at his
scars."
face. Look at his face as he gleefully stigmatizes himself.
And yes,
You know, they don't really address. Does he decide when he pops back out?
I was just about to ask
Why
that.
does he-
Well, Joshua, what pulls him out of the past?
Right. He just goes, and I'm done. You know, there's
I guess this is once the major traumatic thing is changed or something like that. It's just
it
a
takes him out.
storytelling device. Just we don't need to see his recoupment of his hands or how cool he is in school or how bad he is in school. So you have to cut some you have to have a structure, for the script. You have to. You can't. That's why you were saying before. You can't just change everything, every single character in his life, every single decision. There'd be a million movies in one.
Right.
It's already a lot of movies in one. So you have to have this kind of structure and to have some kind of semblance of a plot to have a drive.
Just so we have time to track
and
it all.
you couldn't. I was thinking like this. They call it the butterfly effect. If this were actually like a butterfly effect, it'd be like, well, if I even went back to the past and twitched my finger
Right.
a different direction, that would have like quantum ramifications.
Right.
But you can't make a movie out of that.
No, right.
It has to be
it's too
A to
hard,
B to C.
impossible.
Yeah, then it's everything
Maybe
everywhere
a
all at
TV
once.
show.
Right,
Maybe a TV
right.
show. But it'd be hard to follow a little bit.
Someone's got hot dog fingers.
So-
It's just too many realities.
He gets, his roommate Carlos now will help him, and he goes and he kills the Aryan Brotherhood and give me back my journals. And he travels back in time via the journals to
Nope.
the puppy day, because this is another crucial
Puppy day. Quit calling it a puppy. It makes it more sad. It's just a regular dog.
Just a dog, which is fine. Who cares?
Before you get to that, were you surprised? And since you saw it recently, Matt, were you surprised how realistic, how dark, and how that prison area scene? It wasn't just like one prison scene. It's like a prison segment.
know.
It's a good 15, 20 minutes. How he uses the language, how they're going to have the oral sex, like rape. How he has to like sell that he's a Nazi, so he's using the N-word and other things like that. Like that's in this movie.
Yeah.
They usually work in this movie. Like I was so surprised.
Yeah. I was very impressed with how it really makes you live in it.
If you feel
And feel it.
desperate, you feel like you
Exactly.
better get those fucking journal pages. We can't spend the rest of the movie here, Ashton Kutcher.
And hey, props to Ashton Kutcher. Like he let these, prisoners, real inmate extras, manhandle him and push him around, like just in the lunch line, pushing past him and stealing his food and stuff. Props to him.
And he's not there for long, and he already adapts that behavior of covering your food, and when he goes on to the rest of his timelines, like he's just that quick, you learn how prison changes you.
Yeah.
You don't just go in for a minute and not come out different.
So it's very effective. Very, very realistic, very effective. So we go back to the dog burning day, and he's gonna do it differently this time. In this iteration of the timeline, we see that Kaylee, she has different clothes. She's a different person because she's carrying herself differently. She was able to stand up to her dad, so now he doesn't control what she wears. She still lives with him. She's still friends with Evan, and that's why she's not moving away, because she still wants to be friends with Evan because she loves him. So Evan's like, this time, Lenny, you're going to save my dog. You're going to break him out of the burlap sack and here, use this sharp shard thing. But what ends up happening is Lenny kills Tommy with the shard.
I said, cut the rope. And then the game Cut the Rope was born. That's where this
comes
from.
That's a little known Easter egg.
Shut up. All right. So there's only one medical. All right. So they go back to the place where they keep Michael Myers, and somehow, I don't understand how, Evan knows exactly where to go find Lenny, who's being kept. Why does he need living in the... I'm sorry. I don't remember why he needs to go see Lenny specifically.
So in this reality, Lenny murders Tommy,
right.
and now Evan wakes up in this reality where we eventually find out that Kaylee is a heroin addict and a sex worker. He's like, I need to go talk to Lenny, figure out what happened, what caused all of this. And so he steals the doctor's key card and then goes to the back and goes and talks to Lenny. And this is where Lenny is like totally catatonic, but only says like, when you gave me that shard, you knew what was going to happen, didn't you? And he says, yes, I did.
Also, Lenny always seems to... I'm sorry, go ahead, Josh.
No, I'm basically what you're just going to say. He's keying into something's off with like his behavior, how he's so erratic, how he knows things that aren't going to happen. He knows something's off.
Yeah.
Probably what you're going to say.
Right. And but Lenny also just may be a very intuitive person, but this is the second time where he doesn't even have to look up to know that it's Ashton or to know that it's Evan. Both in his room, and then here he's just like, here's this motherfucker.
Yeah, if some weird shit's going on, you're not far.
This is just a normal day in the bed for Lenny here.
Yeah.
He doesn't even look at him. He's just like, yes, Evan, do you need me to fix something for you? Get in this bed.
This is also what you mentioned, the doctor and him saying, I have the brain of a 40-year-old or whatever. His brain is literally physically manifesting the effects of time travel, because it's like the brain tissue is changing because now it's cramming so much in, and this is causing...
We haven't said this. When he wakes up into a new reality, almost every time, he gets this surge of like a download of everything that's happened. On this, so he kind of he knows the broad strokes, but he doesn't know how to act. But that's the effect, is like it's literally pushing new memories in, but he doesn't totally know how to.
And then his nose bleeds.
Well, he's 11. Clearly, he's 11 from Stranger Things, and I was gonna say that he's not 11 years old. I was gonna say that maybe that's the time limit of these memory changes. Is like if he hemorrhages too much, he just dies. So maybe he gets sucked back out.
Yeah,
because his
Did you ever see the movie Primer, Joshua?
Yeah, I saw it. I didn't like it.
Oh, you didn't like it?
I saw it once.
Oh, I love it. It's a movie that's like literally impossible to follow, but that's like what's appealing about it. It is like Tenet,
fucking Tenet.
But it gives you what I suspect the feeling of time travel would actually feel like, is I cannot keep track of all of the different shit that's going on, all the different versions of me that are walking around.
I'll watch it again. I remember hearing about, it was a buzzy indie time travel movie. I was like, okay. And I watched it. I was like, not enough time travel. I didn't explore enough things. It was not big enough. It was very small. And it was like hard to follow. I hate hard to follow movies.
Yeah.
So I'll watch it again.
I know it's not a good selling point to say like, no, you're not going to get it. You have to watch it a bunch of times. But there are some helpful like diagrams people make online that you can keep handy while you watch, like flowcharts. Anyway, Primer. It's I like it. So Kaylee is not doing that great.
Her figure though, rocking that body.
She has the heroin addict body.
No, it's just her body.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
shame Amy Smart.
No shame.
God.
She's they go to this diner where Evan is trying to convince her like, in this like alternate reality or whatever, we're in a loving relationship. Did that do anything for you?
Right,
and she's like, I don't want to hear this. And you're crazy. And even if it were true, who cares? How does this help me? And I just wanted to draw attention to this beautiful piece of pie that she does not touch.
Get over the pie.
Okay, so he's like, well, I got to go back. I got to fix it. At this point, he's like George Lucas. He can't help it. He has to keep going back and fixing the original cuts because like, I can do it. I need to. But this time he goes back to the day of the mailbox and they save.
Jerk off.
They save. We'll get to the jerk off.
Okay.
They save the baby and the woman. And I love that Tommy decides like, well, I'm going to get caught. I cannot look like a hero. I'll save you, lady.
I'll push both of you on the ground.
And we see that actually that act of pretending to be a hero actually set him on the path of righteousness.
Yes. It set him on the path of being a fucking liar. It wasn't your idea.
No, but he
lost his arms.
But he's not an abuser anymore, and he takes very good care of Evan.
That's true.
But Evan's arms get amputated, and he also apparently doesn't have the use of his legs.
Okay.
And so he wakes up. Yeah, because he's in the wheelchair the whole time.
True.
He wakes up and he's like, hello, Lenny's my roommate, and Lenny's having sex in the room where I am. Guys, what are you doing? I'm here. And Lenny's like, sorry, bro. But then Evan sits up and I really don't like Ashton Kutcher's, goofy, what the fuck is this delivery? And I will say this section where he's disabled, I really don't like this because I just imagine being a person who's an amputee watching this and seeing that he would rather kill himself than live as a disabled person.
No,
and that's such a pervasive thing in media.
Okay, but wait, I think he would have stayed in this reality.
He tries to kill himself before he
you're right.
learns about his mom. He decides this is too tough. I can't do this. I'll just kill myself.
That's not fair. I mean, I get how
it's not the first time though. If it was the first time that he woke up and he happened to be like, okay, I can see like your point, but otherwise it's like he's tried so many things. He's getting fucked up. He can't get the people on board the right path. He can't get on the right path anyway. It's like, should I even just keep doing this? At least now Kaylee and Lenny are happy.
Yeah,
and Tommy too. I got 3 out of 4. Maybe this is the way to go.
I agree. That's why that is a good point. I did think about that. Like it's not literally 1-to-1. I don't have arms anymore, so I'm going to kill myself.
No,
it is like I can't keep doing this.
That, but also he just got it's only been a few days, and he got his dream reality, which he woke up and realized he wanted to marry Kaylee. Like that's how happy he was in that first one, and then this. So like it's very hard to go straight from I got the girl of my dreams, we're going to get married, to I get to listen to her having sex with my best friend for the rest of my life.
Yeah, but they're okay and they're safe. This universe, yes, your mom's going to die. But, so far it's probably the best one you've produced. But like George Lucas, he can't help it. He has to keep going back. Mm-hmm. Well, but then he finds out that his mom is dying.
But our kid says he should have stayed in this one. This was the one to stay in.
I just don't even like sort of the hint of it's better to be dead than be disabled. Yeah. Tommy keeps him from killing himself. And then he goes to the hospital where he meets his mom and finds out his mom is dying of lung cancer when he got injured as a kid. That's what turned her into a chain smoker.
Right.
Very, very successful.
Here Tommy's the best he's ever been. So now you're saying like extreme. He's not a Jesus freak in this one, right? He's just like a normal, like good friend, right?
No, this is the one where he's like an evangelist. Like,
but they don't necessarily code that as like a bad
thing. No, just that he's like at like a booth or something on the campus and like trying to. And then when they get to the hospital where the mom is, he goes, okay, well, I got to go to the chapel. You know, like he is. That's why he leaves the room. So he's clearly like someone that is trying to like reach out and help people.
And this Kaylee says it's because after he saved that woman's life, he like decided I need to save people the rest of my life.
Right.
So Evan, you know, he needs to go back again. And this time I need to get rid of that stick of dynamite that was in a coffee can for 6 years. But it ends up killing Kaylee because he threatens Eric Stoltz with it, lights it, and then he rolls it across the room where young Kaylee picks it up because she thinks it's a sparkler. So he wakes up in the reality where she is dead and he is in the mental institution himself. And this is where we came into the movie, because he ultimately grabs the box of videos and stuff, locks himself in the room and scribbles the note. But he has basically decided, I'll invoke the Taylor Swift song again. It's me. I'm the problem. It's me.
Okay.
He is this cursed entity. He poisons everything he touches. He doesn't even mean to. He's not a bad guy. It's just the universe hates him.
Well, and he's not God.
He's trying his best.
Right.
He's trying his best, but even when he says like, you know, use that scrap of metal to cut up in the rope,
right.
Like people just misconstrue that and be like, well, I just want to kill him instead because I feel like I'm traumatized and this guy Tommy's a problem. So like you can try to tell people things and try to help them with their path, but they'll have their own ideas and things will get in the way and it won't always be how you. Like you try to get that blockbuster out of the way. He didn't mean to roll it, but it rolled that way. Maybe you should be more careful, throw out the window or something. Maybe he would have killed somebody else. You never know. Like something's gonna happen. You know.
And this is I do love in time travel fiction of the past is stubborn. The past doesn't want to be changed. It's gonna fight back when you try to
also
change
it's
things.
this fallacy of that there could be a perfect anything.
Right.
Everyone has to die eventually. That is the way things are. So you're not going to, even if you set up a moment in time where you wake up and everything seems really good, what's to stop anyone from getting your mom getting cancer later? She was always prone to it. And, you know, someone getting hit by a car. It's not you that did that. Life's going to keep going.
Then there would be new things he'd learn about, or he'd be like, I could stop 9/11. I could fix everything. Did you saw The Flash this year?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
I like The Flash. I do. I'm not one of the haters. I loved a lot of it. It'll be on one of my awesome top 5 of the year, I think. I can try to, you know, get past some of the CG problems or whatever, but I thought generally it was a great story and great action.
I am a hater, but I did love there was this
it.
one detail, which is when Barry in the end encounters like the future version of himself who has spent his entire life trying to return to the past and fix things and just can't get it right and keeps trying again and again. It literally consumes his whole life. That is what would inevitably happen.
Yeah, this is not a power anyone should have.
Yeah,
this would make you crazy.
It would consume you, yes. And which is why I love the thing about the stillbirths. It's like, this has happened before. Your brothers have also done this and then eventually realize the only thing I can do.
Or sisters.
We know that it's
Sexist.
brothers. They say that it's male because when she then has a female baby.
No. She has a female baby with a different man.
Yes, but
No.
It's pointed. It's a distinction. No. In the theatrical cut, Evan goes back in time and he's just like, I just won't be friends with them. So he has a video footage of their first meeting and little kid Evan goes up to little kid Kaylee and says, I hate you. Don't be friends with me ever. Right. And it works.
And if you're ever friends with me, I'll kill your family or something. Yeah, it's something.
Yeah.
It's always extreme. It's like they go for the extremes in this movie. They don't hold back.
But it's what a kid would say and what would appeal to a kid. And then, you know, we cut to it's 8 years later. Now Evan is a professional in New York City and he runs into Kaylee on the street and they have a little moment of recognition, but then move on. Well, he has a moment of recognition with her, but no, she does like look back at him once she feels it. Something cosmic is in the air and then they both move on with their lives. But then in the 10 billion times darker director's cut.
Oh, I didn't expect it to be a fully developed. Oh no.
Yes, because he is about to be born. This is his birthing video.
Okay.
And he travels into the womb.
That's very traumatic for your mother. Please don't do this to her. I guess all of it's traumatic.
Yes, and he strangles himself as a fetus with his umbilical
Okay,
cord. And then the
enough.
mom is
I
like,
can't.
not
Get
again.
this baby out of my face, please. Get the baby out of
Okay.
Get the baby out of here.
I can't do it.
So Joshua, you prefer the director's cut ending?
I don't know. It's so hard to like think that is okay, but it's such a, I appreciate the creative vision of it. I don't know. I think it's too dark.
It's the logical way for the story to end. So I do admire the boldness, but I also am like, a baby kills it.
Not a baby. Right. It's just too. You can't have babies.
I also don't like suicide. So anything involving suicide,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be pro suicide of any kind of outcome, even if it's like the best for the story. I probably will nick it for demerit for that or something. I want to ask you. So did you like how they changed some of the rules of the time travel, like with just the journals? That now you can do it through pictures or through the videos. Like that was a cool.
I do, and it makes me feel like if this guy kept going, like he'd find all kinds of easy ways to travel back in time. You could not live with this power.
Exactly. That's why the baby one actually does make the most sense, because you're not, anytime you have bad luck, it would be so tempting to be like, let me find another way to time travel real quick, or just be scared of like looking at any pictures. It's clearly anything that jogs a memory. That's what does this. So it's like Facebook and like 5 years ago, here's a moment from 5 years ago. I mean, could you enjoy just regular normal stuff that ends up getting produced in this world without accidentally going back in time?
No, you couldn't.
Like, I looked at your baby photo. And
I wish they kind of sat with the idea of the journals are gone. He himself up so much, or he changed things so much he didn't need the journals. The doctor doesn't have the journals, or he can't get to the journals. I wish they kind of let that sit for a little bit. We're like, well, how are you gonna get out of this then?
Right.
And instead of this whole this idea, now we can do photos or maybe memories or something, or maybe mind control or something like that. About like hypnosis or something, other kind of things.
Right. Regression, whatever. Mm-hmm.
As pat as it seems like the theatrical ending is, I like it. I like that it doesn't have them then getting together romantically.
Right. I like that he lets it go because he's a jinx.
It is just a cool thing to think about, of like people having these connections that they don't even know about. There's just some universe somewhere where the two of us are entangled somehow.
Yeah.
Well, it's great that they have also, besides that director's ending, they have the theatrical one where they both go in their own separate ways and they don't reminisce again. They also have a couple other alternate endings where he does turn around and sees her and talks to her and they kind of get back together or something, or it's implied. Or there's a fourth one where he sees her and he kind of follows. They will connect again. But I kind of like that one.
Well,
actually.
we don't know how it's going to go, right? It's like I like that.
It's ambiguous.
They have lunch. He realizes he's not that into her anymore.
She's kind of